Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. You can always build your credit up. Now, look, that's just the nature of life today. You got to have that credit. I don't care how much money you making. If that credit ain't right, like I've heard of situations where someone is making a high salary, but their credit is messed up and they couldn't get stuff. Or if you were looking to buy a home, they looking at what your credit is really affects what type of loan you can get, how much you might have to put down. I remember like during the subprime crisis a decade or so ago, a lot of people were getting subprime mortgage loans, which end up messing them up because the credit wasn't that good. It's everything. I mean, including even jobs. Like I know definitely in the government, for some government positions, like some government contract positions, you have to have good credit, especially if you are dealing with, anything, maybe criminal investigations, or especially anything dealing with national security. And even some retail jobs, it's jacked up. And trust me, I know, I know. And look, I have no problems admitting my credit got jacked up. It's a combination of things. Part of it was overspending. I ain't gonna lie. Part of it was overspending, not being disciplined in spending. See, a lot of what I do on this channel is so you don't make the same mistakes. I don't want you making the same mistakes, because trust me, your credit get jacked up, boom. And then emergency. One of the things that really affected my credit was my grandmother's passing in 2002. Like things were great, but then dealing with her estate and everything. Just as an aside, make sure you have a will. Make sure you have a will. But, that's another conversation for another day. But it's about building up your credit. And I don't care where your credit is at, you got to have the attitude that you can build it up. You got to have that attitude. That's the main thing. Because I remember, the reason I even thought about this, because I was my latest credit report. I'm just a few points shy of 800. And I know somebody might be like, say, well, I got 800. Power to you, use that joint. A lot of people don't. That's why you got credit repair agencies. That's why you have all of this stuff. Indeed, you could have someone, they making a high salary and they might not get something because the credit's jacked up. Now, how did I build my credit back up? Now, I didn't go to a credit agency and stuff, because I think from what I've heard, because I never used one, but from what I heard, some are legit, some can really help you. Others, they scam artists. They get some money out of you, don't really do anything that you couldn't have done. My philosophy was just pay off the bill. Just pay it off. On-time payments, everything. Because I remember even getting really started at this level of business, I was using some credit cards. When I was first started, because I started on this website, it was an internet radio network. But, I had to pay for just the time. I had to pay to be on there, which was no problem, but it was already tight for me anyway. So stuff got even, got a little jacked up. It was tough. But what did I do? I just kept working at it. And of course, using the business principles I had, working a full-time job. Let me be clear on that. I've never said there's anything wrong with a full-time job, 9 to 5. I just say use it for other purposes. That's why I say if you have one, okay, still get a business on the side. But, the thing was with that, all I did was just pay it off. Like one of the first things, the basic thing you can do is pay all your stuff on time. Now, when you pay like your credit cards and stuff on time, you want to pay everything on time. Indeed, when I get a bill, I don't wait till the last minute. I pay it right then. As soon as the bill appears, I pay it that day. As soon as it posts. And I've talked before, like even if you're using like a credit card to pay for stuff, as soon as it posts, just pay it. If you can right away, depending on what it is. Depending on what it is, if it's one of those that posts right away, like the next day, pay it the next day. If it posts in a few days, pay it then. Pay it then. And that's depends on the card too. Depends on the card. But really just what the bottom line, keep up with the payments. And then when you pay, because the credit cards nowadays, they'll start you off with like 0 interest, but then most of them, not all of them, like Discover, they'll stay at 0 interest. Most of them, they'll start adding some, 16%, whatever. Still pay that off quickly, whatever you do. But bottom line, pay it on time. Now, say you have a lot of credit card debt and you try and get your credit cards down. What you want to do, you pay off the lowest first. The lowest you pay that off first. And then the next one and the next one. Because, okay, you pay that off first, and then you have the next credit card. You can start adding the money that you had for the first one onto the next one. And then it becomes a snowball effect. And then, of course, you still need to keep a credit card. Unfortunately, if you have a credit card and it's open but you don't use it, don't let them close it. If you close it yourself, it's better. It's actually better if you close it yourself. But even then, it might be smart to at least keep a couple and just maybe set a limit on it and then pay that on time. And then whatever you do, they always say a minimum. Always pay more than a minimum. Never pay just the minimum. Because that's how people get in trouble, especially with interest-bearing credit cards. Especially because they'll pay off the minimum, but then all of a sudden the bill is even bigger the next month. You're like, how that happen? It's the interest. That's why I say, pay it off as soon as you can. And even beyond the date, if you can. And a general rule I use, I don't buy anything unless I have the cash right there to pay for it. And one of the things, and this is just an aside, because you know how you have some of those credit cards, you have these credit cards now that actually give you money back. You can actually build up money for it. You can actually build up money. It's a little slick thing. But then that's why you pay for it. Like I have a credit card that's connected to my bank. So instead of using my debit card, I'll use the credit card and then get a little bit of money back. Then I pay that off. Always think about how you can make money. But the bottom line for building up your credit, just pay your bills steady. Seriously, just pay your bills steady. Don't look for any shortcuts. Be steady with it, because that's the main thing. That's what creditors are looking for. And after a while, like even with some bad credit, it'll take a few years, stuff will fall off. Stuff will fall off just on its own. But you want to just keep paying it. Keep paying it. And I'm not going to talk down on credit repair companies. I would just say this: do some due diligence. Do some serious due diligence, because like I said, I've heard of some legit ones. I've heard of some bad ones. But whatever you do, just pay it off. You want to keep that steady. Even you got a bunch of credit monitoring apps and everything. They not bad. The only thing with them is they're going to hit you with some pre-approved stuff and cards. Don't just get cards just to get them. But here's the issue though. You have to have, you got to establish credit. You got to establish credit, because that's what they're looking at. And it's very powerful. It's very powerful. Especially not even just to buy little things. That's minor. But if you want to get something major, like a car, like right now, I already know, because even though I'm saying I'm getting the 800, my FICO scores for cars is actually over 800. I can go right now and just go get another car easily. I ain't gonna have a high interest rate or anything. It should. In fact, it's kind of scary. You walk into a place, you got a certain credit score. They got everybody trying to hold digit. You just like, man, I just brought my car in just for some service. They like, oh, let me check it. Oh, hey, we got this new car for you here. But here's the bottom line. You can always build it up, but you just got to be disciplined with it. All right. So anyway, that's all I have. That's all I have for now. Y'all know the deal. Let's go make that money.